All right, so Texas has been under a huge cold spell for the last several days. In fact, the whole Midwest has. But Texas has been more newsworthy because of the power shortages that they've been having. Texas has their own grid, and unfortunately, somebody got the bright idea of investing in green energy, which of course is a fail. The main problem is they spent all their resources on useless solar and wind farms and didn't invest in the proper reliable sources such as nuclear, coal, and natural gas. So when it got cold and the windmills froze, the power they were relying on from that was no longer there, and then the infrastructure for the reliable sources couldn't keep up with it, and then some of them failed. We know about the frozen pipes, we know about the sensor failure in a nuclear plant. Of course, the liberals try and come out and blame fossil fuels. They say, "Oh, it's antiquated and it's their fault." It's really not. It's Texas's fault for investing in faulty energy sources and not investing in the ones that actually work. Alex Epstein, who is the president of the Center for Industrial Progress, he laid this out pretty well. He broke it down about all the investments that they've made and how they failed to fortify their natural gas and nuclear plants and so forth. Basically, it boils down to that. We need to get away from that. This is a cautionary tale against the Green New Deal. New Deal is more or less the same thing, but they want it on a national scale. They're going to make everything carbon neutral by 2035. Well, this is what's going to happen. They're going to invest in these shoddy power sources, and when it fails, we're all going to be in the dark. Here in Arizona, it's 115. I guess we're going to have to get used to being hot inside. The rest of the country where it's cold, I guess they're going to have to be used to freezing. The technology is just not there yet. It's not reliable. We have huge swaths of energy here. We have natural gas. We have oil in the Midwest. We should be energy independent, of course, with China joeing now. That's the objective is to go away from that. They want us reliant on other countries, and also we got to remember he's foreign owned, so he owes a lot of money to Ukraine and China and Russia. So that explains a lot of the decisions that he's been making. Um, the same thing happens in California. It happens every summer. It's all scheduled rolling blackouts because they've done the same thing. They've done away with their reliable natural gas plants, and they're going to solar and wind, which, of course, can't keep up. I don't know what more you have to see. Of course, they're going to keep pushing the climate hoax to try and push this shit through. It's funny. I saw The Day After Tomorrow the other day, which the effects in that movie were cool, but the movie was stupid. It's all a bunch of propaganda. You have a Dick Cheney-like vice president who's pushing for fossil fuels and pushing for oil. In the end, he has to grovel about how wrong he was and how it's all his fault. The whole premise, nobody ever calls out the fact that they debunked the whole premise in the movie. They show this woolly mammoth that flash froze with food in its mouth because this ice age started and an instant freeze. And in the movie, they're saying that man's use of fossil fuels caused this instant ice age and flash freeze, which you see in the movie. Well, no one bothers to call them out. Well, this happened 15,000 years ago on its own. So who's to say it's not going to happen again? It's just propaganda that you're pushing. We've already seen executive orders put in place to already screw our energy sector. You see Keystone Pipeline. That's not going to do anything to change anything as far as the amount of carbon we put out. All it's going to do is mess with our supply, which of course is going to lead to higher costs and just screw us over in that regard. There's of course China Joe is supporting a pipeline between Russia and Germany, so go figure on that one. The Green New Deal would perpetuate all of this. It would put us all in the dark and put us all in the hot or cold, depending where you're at. Here in Arizona, it's pretty nice for 7 months out of the year. Don't really use the heater in the summertime. Use the AC for about 6 months. I can't imagine what it's going to be like. We do have a lot of solar out here. It's probably a little bit more reliable than you'd see elsewhere, but we shouldn't rely on that. We should rely on things that work. We should rely on fossil fuels. We should rely on nuclear. Nuclear is very reliable, very safe. Fossil fuels, we have enough to last for hundreds of years. We should use it up, and then gradually, if the technology comes in and something can take its place reliably, fine, go for it. Don't push it down our throats.